We're spending a few minutes today with Jim Booz, and Jim, we're kind of situated in the disc, kind of not where the ideal home. You've also played at the College of St. Scholastica. Preseason's been a little bit different this year. How have you guys adjusted just this year, just getting used to things at a different home, I would say?
Yeah, it's certainly been different than the previous 16 years for me as the head coach, and Kristen as a 15-year assistant. This is very different than normal, but we're just trying to make the best of the circumstance. We know the long-term finished product of Romano Gymnasium is going to be an incredible home asset for us from a recruiting standpoint and a competitive standpoint. And so we understand there's some issues that go with that. And right now, we're waiting to get in there. And while we wait, we had to find a temporary home. Both Scholastica and the Disc have been incredible hosts. And it's also helped us prepare to play in different environments and on different surfaces. Sport court here, we don't train on sport court very often at the college level, and our home opener is going to be on the same sport court, so this is good preparation for that. So you make the best of what's in front of you and just try to get better like you always do in your own gym.
And you talk about that different home court. You guys are playing at AMSOIL Arena on September 6th for your home opener against Bemidji State, and then you'll have a nice new gym, as you kind of recently talked about. How nice do you think it will be to have that just different atmosphere and just know that you have these different places to play, and how do you think it's going to benefit the team?
I just think it's such a unique experience. First time we've ever hosted a home match anywhere other than Romano, and so trying to rally the community and the volleyball community to come and support us and see something very unique with the amenities and the way AMSOIL can host an athletic event. I think it's going to be a pretty special time. We're doing a military appreciation in conjunction with the football military appreciation, so I think it's a great chance to do that as well. So we just hope people come out to see what can be a very unique experience, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the team to play in the home of Bulldog hockey, and we're looking forward to that opportunity before we get to come back into the friendly confines of Romano.
And then just moving on to your team. 5 returning starters, 4 of them made the All-SIC team, 1 of them was an All-American. A bevy of experience comes back. What do you expect out of your just returners and basically your starters? What do you expect, and what do you want them to grow upon going into this year?
Yeah, we're only replacing Allison Oley in the starting lineup, so certainly we've got to figure out a way to do that, replace her production both from an attacking and a blocking standpoint, as well as the leadership that she provided as a senior. But for the rest of them, it's all about them just getting incrementally better and shouldering a little bit more of the load in terms of what they do on the court, but also what they do as leaders and off the court. Everyone's a year older. Everyone has a little bit more experience than where they were at this time last year. Expectations are always high for what we are trying to get done, and they know that. So there's some challenges that are there, and they know what it's going to take to win the big matches you need to win in this conference, and we've still got a lot of work to do to accomplish those goals, and we still have a lot of other players that are fighting for opportunities to help us do that. And so we're just trying to get better every day while we prepare for that first competition this weekend.
And speaking of Oli, you kind of touched on it. She was the other All-American for you guys. She was the 24th different Bulldog now in your program history to get an All-American status. Who's going to fill that void? Who do you got lining up in that starting role, or in a rotation type sense?
Yeah.
Who's going to help you out there?
Well, we've got 4 middles after Abby Thor who are all going to be competing for those opportunities. After the spring, we knew Lexi Langenfeld had put herself in a good position to be someone who would be getting some opportunities there. She's physical. She has really long arms. She's a very imposing blocker. And the spring really got her to catch up with the speed of the game and some of the expectations of her position and get her better from a technical standpoint. But, Bailey Ramich has been here now in the program for 2 years and has some experience and is certainly able to go out there and do what we need her to do from a middle blocker standpoint. We have 2 very young, inexperienced, but very athletic and talented middles in Brianna Weinberg and Summer Ballard, and both are going to continue to get better day in and day out. I think the lineup we start on day one, I've said this many times before, the lineup we start on day one may not be the same lineup we finish in at the end of this season. And so it's really for each of them about working every day to get better, and when their time has come, be prepared to do the job. So going into it right now, I'd say Lexi has probably got the head start on where we might be come Friday, but there's other people prepared to help us.
And we saw that last year. I know Hannah Meyer was one of those that you took off the bench and was
absolutely
a spark plug at times. Speaking of that, is there anybody you see that could have that type of breakout season, or someone that takes that leap forward? Is there anyone among your returners, or is there any of the other freshmen that you've kind of watched over the few weeks that you go, yeah, this person might be able to contribute more than I thought early on?
Yeah, I don't know if this answer will be more than I thought, but Hannah Meyer is a great example of someone who's right there in the mix. You know, we returned Mac and Kate, who played a lot of minutes last year on the outside position, but Hannah Meyer was always right there, very, very close. This spring, she probably had the best spring of any of the players in our program, and you know, from a physical standpoint, is extremely hoppy. Her arm swing's really improved. She's starting to really understand her role as a blocker in the front row, has improved her defense and ball control. You know, there's a heated competition going on there where she is certainly going to be in the mix. Mandy Karofsky, who was transferred in and couldn't play last year, is certainly an experienced player who is going to be in that conversation as well. So although you return 2 starters on the outside, I really feel like we have 4 players who are ready day one here to be contributors to what we need to do. In addition to that, you know, early in preseason here, Sydney Lanou, our DS libero from Tracy High School, has really shown a lot. Just a high volleyball IQ, an extremely natural touch on the ball, really instinctual defensively. She's gonna be hard to keep off the floor all year long. You know, her in combination with Keena Seifert and Megan Freeberg, I feel like we have 3 really good, experienced, talented DSs to really help shore up some of our ball control and backcourt issues when we need them.
And of course, with the one big thing is Sarah Kelly, your All-American. What can she do to have a better year? I mean, she had an outstanding year, was right there among the tops in almost every category. How does she one-up that for her senior year?
Yeah, I think the challenge always for those juniors who really shine in their junior year, whether in our program or in other programs, they come out and now they gather even more attention than what they were getting the previous year. And so it's about, how can I still be super effective knowing teams are going to game plan more for me than they ever have before? You know, can I terminate with 2 blockers in my way? Can I expand my shot range and create different ways to score other than just hammering balls? Can I tip balls and throw balls off the block and push balls into the corner? And can I improve my blocking? And can I make myself a 6 rotation impactful player? That's really what Sarah's charge is. She's an incredible offensive weapon. She's extremely efficient and effective, but you know, she still has room to improve as well, and we're excited to see where this year goes with her.
And as you said, she's going to be leading the charge with your team. You guys are ranked 3rd in the NSIC coaches poll and 3rd in the ABCA poll. How do you see the conference shaking out? And is there any one team that you might have your eye on that might surprise a couple teams in the NSIC that might be on a lower tier that, you know, you go, if everything goes right for them, they might be a team to really look out for?
Yeah, as far as I see the NSIC, I think it's similar to what it's been over the course of the last several years, where there's just a lot of depth and a lot of talent starting at the very top and filtering its way all the way through. You know, there's always the who's who of Division II volleyball with Concordia and Southwest, but you know, Northern State has got an incredibly talented team, and teams like Winona and Augie and Sioux Falls, Wayne State. I mean, I can just keep rattling off teams, and I'm not going to run out of names that I think are going to pose challenges. As far as, you know, Upper Iowa is a great example of that last year. They had the best season in their program's history, and you know, found their way into the top 25 poll, and I expect them to be every bit as good, if not better, this year. So just add another team to the pile that had, you know, that had already been really large. In terms of teams that maybe can do something like an Upper Iowa, I'm sure there is a team. Do I know for sure who that is yet? No. You know, you don't always pay a super amount of attention to what do they lose, what do they gain, what do they look like. You know, we'll start really thinking about that here once teams start playing and we have access to their video. You know, we have a lot of incredible coaching staffs in our league that work really hard to bring in talented athletes. The volleyball in the upper Midwest is as good as it gets in this country, so every team in our league continues to get better and stronger, and so we know night in and night out, regardless of where a team sits, we've got to come ready to play volleyball.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time, Jim, and good luck on the season.
Sounds good. Appreciate the time.